Hello, 1 minute here. Okay, give me just 1 second. Okay, so hi, I hope everybody is doing great here. Let me see. Yeah, so I'm basically using my phone just to check the chat. Okay, hi. So warm welcome to Vedantu. Warm welcome to We Learn English. How's that we can deal with distractions to focus better? That is something that we're going to talk about. So thank you so much for your patience, guys. Thank you so much for waiting. I had to delay the session by 15 minutes because of some technical reason. Okay. Hi Anil. Hi Simran. Hi Anushka. Hi Sneha. Hi Simran. Hi Pooja. Hi Soumya. Perfect. So I hope everybody is doing great. Awesome. Mind blowing. Amazing. As usual. Anyway, so this is something very interesting to talk about, right? How that we can deal with distractions. Everybody has distractions. Okay. Now distractions could be of various types, and that is something that doesn't let you focus. So that is something we're going to talk about. Now, before we begin talking about this, let me just tell you what is that we have noticed at Vedantu. So on Vedantu, we have noticed that when you are learning online, when it's online education happening, these are the problems that everybody faces, every student. The problems you guys faces right from doubt solving to notes, tests and assignments, competitive exams, preparation for competitive exams, the choice of schedule, and the choice of language as well. It's like the explanation part. It could be in English or Hindi. So these are the problems that every student faces. Like when you're learning something online, you learn a topic, you learn a subject, but what about the doubts you may have regarding the subject? What about the availability of the notes? What about uh, the planning of the tests and assignments, competitive exams, and then your schedule, the choice of language? All these problems are solved. You know, Vedantu has solved all these problems with its pro subscription. Yes, you heard it right. If you really want to become a pro student here, check out this pro subscription, which gives you these bonus features as well. You get access to unlimited live class, all micro and crash courses. The performance reports are sent to you. You get personalized attention in the sessions. You simply have to visit this link, vdnt.in/ytpro, and use my coupon code DGPro. The first step would be you select your grade. Second would be you select your board, CBSE, State Board, or ICSE. Then you check out the details. Check out all the features available in the Pro subscription. Then you click on Get Subscription. Once you click on Get Subscription, you see um, you get three options here: a 1 month subscription, 3 month subscription, and a 6 month subscription. You can use my coupon code DGPro and you can get your discount. 2699 is the usual price before coupon code for 1 month subscription. If you use my coupon code, the price drops down to 2294. The price will drop down to 5949 for 3 month subscription from 7000, and the price will drop down to just 9774 from 11500 for the 6 month subscription. So this coupon code, that is DGPro. Okay, you guys can simply use the code, and if you guys want, you can sing this as well. That's DG Pro. DG Pro, right? Perfect. So simply visit on this link, vdnt.in/ytpro. It's as it is YT Pro, it's DG Pro. So use the coupon code DG Pro. Uh, Avail the discount, save your money, and at the same time get the best quality education as well. Perfect. And there is one more good news for you guys. There is one more good news for you. That was one news. That was one pro news. Look at this. Look at this. Another good news here. Let me turn off the video because this is a full screen here. Check this. Here. So on 31st of July, that is on this Friday, 7 o'clock, guess who's going to be live with us? One of the most famous celebrities, a fantastic actress, Vidya Balan, as we all know. She's going to be live with us on Vedantu. You can check out this master talk with Vidya Balan, who will be in the character of Shakuntala Devi. That is one of her characters that she has acted for. Okay, and she will help you bring out the genius in you. Attend the sessions. See, it's going to be really wonderful and helpful for you guys. Okay, it is going to be at 7 p.m. on 31st of July. You simply click on this link. Okay, click on this link, vdnt.in/genius. You can simply copy paste this link, or open this on your browser. Open this on your browser. If you cannot access the link from here, just open this on your browser. That is vdnt.in http colon these two slashes / okay, and then vdnt.in/genius. Go onto this and register yourself for this live master talk. This is all going to be live. Okay, she's going to be live on Vedantu, so make sure you uh, subscribe, make sure you sign up, go on to this link. The link is also given in the description box. So if you really want to bring out the genius in you, if you really want to bring out the genius in you, don't forget to sign up for this session. This is going to be a nice master talk with Vidya Balan. Anyway, and for those who haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. That's We Learn English. Do not only subscribe it, hit the bell icon as well. All right, guys, for those who don't know me yet, my name is Dheeraj Gabeja. You guys can call me DG. I'm not only a teacher of English, but then I'm a human psychologist as well. So I've done human psychology through science and spirituality approach. Um, okay, and that is how I'm more than capable and more than confident to talk about the mind counseling sessions. I have made videos on how that you can control your mind, how that you can deal with the negative thoughts, and personality development. So today it's a psychological topic again, something related to personality development, something related to the psychology that helps us understand. So if you haven't subscribed to We Learn English, this is the most amazing channel for self improvement. Why I say self improvement? Because this is not only about English communication skills. Yes, we are covering everything about English: academic English, non-academic English, public speaking, pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, writing skill. All that is anyway happening, but additionally, you get these mind psychology sessions. We are going to talk about personality enhancement sessions. So this will help you to become a better person, a better version of what you can be. So make sure you uh, have subscribed and hit the bell icon as well, so that you don't miss the updates. Chalo, theek hai. So this is how it looks like. This is how it looks like when we are distracted, or something like this. You see, when we are not able to focus, when there is distraction. So let's talk about this now. Let's talk about these distractions right here. Are we ready? Are we ready to talk about the distractions? So when you're ready, just confirm in the chat box. More than a topic, this is going to be a conversation. So we're going to talk about it now. This is not a topic as such. This is not something that we have to learn academically, like as we learn other subjects. This is something that we have to understand. More than a topic, this is going to be a conversation, a talk. Chalo, theek hai. Let's start. Perfect. So all of you, I'm going to keep my phone aside, so I won't check the chat for the next 10 minutes, because I'm going to talk about it. So I request all of you to please listen to me carefully. Don't take this as a topic. Don't be ready with your pen and paper to write down notes or something like that. This is not going to be a topic as such. This is going to be one of the most important conversations which can help you mold yourself. This might change your life as well. Chalo, theek hai. Let's get started. Stay tuned and let's start. Let's understand this. So if you see, in this life, when you are a human being, when we are human beings, um, somehow being a human being is not easy. So if you look at other creatures, maybe a dog, cat, a fish, any bird, there are so many other creatures, and even plants, which have life. Their life is simple. It is kind of structured the way nature wants it. Maybe it starts with survival. They do a couple of things in their life, and it ends with survival. Okay, but then the problems in a human being, they all begin after the survival is taken care of. So a life of a human being is not satisfied, or it's not fulfilled just by survival. When food, clothing, shelter, these so-called survival needs are taken care of, I know unless the survival needs are taken care of, we have only few problems. Maybe problem of food, maybe problem of clothing, problem of shelter. Once the survival is taken care of, and the human being tries to go above survival, that is where the problem begins. So you see, when your stomach is empty, when a human being's stomach is empty, there is only one problem, that is food. But then when the stomach is full, when your survival is taken care of, there are thousands of other problems. Now let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. See, I told you I'm a psychologist. I've studied psychology through science and spirituality approach, not only science, but then I've referred to scriptures of Vedanta and Bhagavad Gita, and the even great spiritual leaders. Basically, what spirituality is trying to say and what science is trying to say. In our education system, if you see, we are learning about everything. We are learning about physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, etc. So no problem about that. That's good learning. We are not against that learning. But the problem is the entire education system is planned without understanding the fundamentals of the human mind. So you see, there is no system of education, or there is no part in your education system which focuses on the fundamentals of the mind. Now, this is the irony. This is the irony. It should be added in an education system as soon as possible, because this is the need of the hour as well. Now, if you see, the human mind is the most complicated gadget. Now, let's say when we talk about an iPhone, or any Android phone, or any other gadget for that matter, we are so much mesmerized and interested in using these gadgets. But all these gadgets have come out of human mind. So let's talk about this here. So when there is a physical body, we all know to take care of a physical body to a certain extent. We have spoken about this earlier. Now, when it comes to the mind, when it comes to your mind, that is the mental body, that is where the distraction is. Distraction is not in life. Let's understand this very clearly. Distraction is not in life. Distraction is in our human mind. And unfortunately, nobody has taught us to deal with that, not even our education system. You must be lucky if at all you have learned it from your parents, or maybe the guidance, and maybe some people who might have guided you, maybe your near and dear ones, teachers, trainers, or you try to figure it out yourself. Let's understand. So if you see, this mind is working in two ways. There are two most important things to talk about our mind. Now, this is very detailed. This is very complex to talk about. So when you try to talk about something very complex, something very big, something very detailed in a precise way, you cannot cover everything. So I'm going to cover two most important things here that we must know about our mind. So there are two ways if you see this mind is working. One is you using your thought process. When we use the word mind, I'm talking about your thought process. When you use your thought process consciously, that is by choice. That is one thing. And another thing is the unconscious thinking process that is happening. So distraction. When we use the word distraction, when will you use the word distraction? I have a question for all of you. I have a question to all of you here. When would we use the word distraction? We use the word distraction when we want to focus, right? When we want to focus on something, only then, as an opposite, we use the word distraction when you're not able to focus. Am I correct? This is what we human beings mean by distraction. Like when we use the word distraction, you're trying to say you're not able to focus. Let's say if there is no need to focus, if there were no need to focus on something, there would be no distractions. There would be no distractions, right? So this talk about distraction is happening only because we are trying to focus on something. Is this clear? The talk about distraction is happening only because you're trying to focus on something. Now, when you're not trying to focus on anything, when you simply have to live a normal life, when you do not want to focus on something important, then there are no distractions. You see, it is just life and life and life. The way it is working, the way it is for everyone, uncertain. You cannot predict everything about life if you're now trying to focus. Now, when you're trying to focus, now when I say when you're trying to focus, that focus could be on anything. It could be on your fitness, making your body better. It could be on reading a book. It could be on taking up a course. It could be you're trying to build a good relationship with your family members, near and dear ones, or maybe your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. So you see, that is when the focus thing comes into picture. The word focus just means you're trying to pay attention. You're trying to direct your attention. So for that, of course, you use your conscious thinking process. Now let's take an example. Let's take an example, all of you. We'll do a live example here. We'll do a live example. Let's say, let me just grab something here. Okay, let me just grab something. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Okay. So let's say I have to focus here. I have to focus here. I've got this book, okay, as an example. We are going to do a live example right now, a live test right now, basically a live demonstration right now. Chalo, are we ready for this live test? How distractions work and how is that we can deal with distractions? We are going to talk about, we are going to see it with a live example. So everybody ready? Just confirm in the chat to experience this live test of distraction. What actually distraction is and how is that we can deal with that. Tell me if you're ready. So we're going to do this live test right now. Chalo, perfect. Everybody looks ready. Okay, this is where the talk of distraction comes in. Let's say I'm just holding this book. It is just a grammar book. We can talk about which book it is later. Now, I want to focus on this book here. I want to pay attention to reading this book. I'm giving you a very live example right now. A very live example right now. So I open this book. Now I have planned to focus. I plan to focus here. I plan to study this maybe for my exam, for some course, or for some competitive exam, or maybe just for some learning. Now, when I begin reading, now when I begin reading, when I begin using this book, you see, I'm using my conscious mind. I'm using my thought process. That is, I'm using my thinking ability to learn this book, to read this book. Now, what is happening is the moment you try to focus, the moment you try to focus on anything, be it a book, be it a game, uh, a person, something, someone, etc. So now it is a thing. We are trying to focus on this book here, whatever is written here. Now, what is happening is, as I try to focus, there are a lot of random thoughts happening in my mind. If you see, now that is called distractions. When we use the word distractions, you're basically trying to say there is something happening in my mind which is out of control, which I'm not able to control, which I don't know how to deal with. See, distraction is not an issue when you're not trying to focus. There is nothing called distraction when you're not trying to focus. Let's say I simply sit here and I'm not trying to focus on something. I'm simply sitting here. So where is the need? Where is the distraction? There is no distraction. There is no distraction. Distraction comes into picture when you're trying to focus on something important. It could be your exam, it could be your studies, it could be sports, it could be you trying to do something productive, maybe you're trying to make more money. It could be any aspect of life. It could be any aspect of life you're trying to pay attention to. So distraction is there in the unconscious mind. Distraction is there in the unconscious mind. Let's understand this right now. So I have begun reading this book. It's been 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm reading this book. Now, what is happening in my mind is unconsciously, I have these random thoughts in my mind. These random thoughts that I am not doing. There are two things I told you. You using your mind consciously to read this book, that is there. Now, when it is happening on its own, that unconscious thinking process. So your mind tells you, hey, go and talk to your friend right now. Hey, why don't you just look at that girl? You get attracted to some girl or you get attracted to some boy, which is very normal. That happens in this age. But that's all happening in the unconscious mind. That's all happening in the unconscious mind. You are using your conscious mind to focus on the book. Now, in the unconscious mind, your mind says, hey, let's do this tomorrow. Let's do this tomorrow. Why to study now? Let's do this tomorrow. We have a lot of time. Why don't you talk to that girl? Why don't you talk to that boy? Why don't you go out and just meet your friends? Why don't you use your smartphone for some time? Why don't you play a game? Why don't you rest for some time? Why don't you sleep for some time? All these are distractions, right? These are the kind of distractions we get. So the kind of age group that you guys are in, the most common distraction is the uh, attraction towards a boy or a girl. Uh, need for having a relationship. That's normal, but then people call that also distraction. Okay, that's a personal choice, but that is also considered as distraction. Then your technology, your friends maybe, okay, and maybe are many other things. So maybe you're trying to oversleep. All that comes under distraction, right? All that comes under distraction. So you see, how's that we deal with that now? We know what distractions are. Now I want to focus on this book. My purpose is to focus on this book. And how is that I can keep my mind here? How is that I can keep my mind here and not get carried away by those unconscious thoughts? Not get carried away by those unconscious thoughts. Pay attention here. Pay attention. Very important tip. The most important tip. You have to take the power away from your unconscious mind. You heard me right. The only and only way to focus. The only and only way to focus. There are two things you have to understand to learn to focus. First of all, let's understand what focus is. There are many people who feel that when you're trying to focus, there should be nothing else going on in your mind. There should be nothing else going on in your mind. For example, your brain should be frozen. That's not what focus is. That's not what focus is. The word focus means I'm trying to look at this book here. I hold this book. Okay, I'm trying to read this book right now. I'm trying to understand this book. What is written here? So I'm trying to focus. So I'm using my conscious thinking process. But at the same time, your mind will never become completely still. Your mind will never be empty of thoughts, those unconscious thoughts which are happening on its own. That will anyway happen. That will anyway happen. So when I try to focus here and I get carried away by the unconscious thinking process of the mind, and I begin to feel that's the reality, then you will close the book and you will call your friend, or you will try to you will get attracted to some girl or boy, or you will, want to play a game, or you will simply want to sleep because you're trying to give importance to that unconscious thinking process. You have to remember it this way: your conscious thinking process, what you are doing by choice, is your friend, and you have to just take the power away from your unconscious thinking process. What do I mean by unconscious thinking process? The thoughts which are happening on its own. That is something that you are not doing. Your choice is to focus. Your choice is to focus. That's what your choice is. But now what is happening in the mind is there is this random thoughts which are happening which tell you go and talk to your friend, sleep for some time, and all that. You simply have to ignore those random thinking process. That's the only and only way to focus. You simply have to ignore. You have to learn to ignore the random thinking process. Don't try to fight it. I've told you this earlier also. This unconscious mind, which is happening on its own, you should not fight it. You should not fight it. You simply have to take the power away from your unconscious mind. So if your mind says go and talk to your friend right now, if your mind says you have a lot of time, why can't you focus later? Your mind says, go, go and talk to that girl or a boy, and why is that you're reading this book here? If your mind says all this, which is happening on its own, the only way to deal with that is you have to ignore it. Take the power away. Take the power away from that unconscious thinking process and give all the power to your conscious thinking process. Basically, your conscious mind must be stronger, heavier, and more powerful than the unconscious mind, basically. The difference between that is you using your mind by choice is called conscious mind. You using your thoughts, you using your thinking process, that's your ability. But when it is happening unconsciously, those thoughts are happening unconsciously. And if you begin to feel that's the reality, if you give the power to those unconscious thoughts, that is what we call distraction. That is what we call distraction. So you simply have to take the power away from those unconscious thinking process. You can try it right now. You can try it right now. Let's do it right now. Try to focus on something. Guys, everybody is going to do a live experiment with me right now because this is a live session. Had it been recorded, I wouldn't have done it. But since it's a live session, let's do it right now. Let's try to focus on something. Let's try to focus on something right now. Maybe you can, if you can have a book or something in your hand, or you think about something important. Let's try to focus on something. Do you have something to focus on with you? Maybe a book, an image, a goal, some planning. Yeah, let's try to focus. Let's do this live example right now. So when you try to focus, tell me what is happening in your mind. When you try to focus, tell me what is happening in your mind. When you try to focus on the book near you, when you try to focus on something, what is happening in your mind right now? Tell me that. Just mention that in the chat. What is happening in your mind when you try to focus on something? Your mind gives you a lot of other thoughts. Is this what is happening? Your mind gives you many other thoughts, random thoughts. Something like, let's do it later. Let's talk to a friend. Let's talk to that girl or a boy that you are attracted to, maybe. Or let's just pass some time. Let's just simply sleep. Is this what is happening in your mind, guys, when you try to focus? If you have a book or something in your hand right now. So Madhusudan says yes. Jessica says yes. Who else? Who else? Just tell me if you experience this. If you're experiencing this right now. Now, these unconscious thinking process that is happening with you, a lot of random thoughts which are happening with you, you have to take the power away from those thoughts. Okay, if your mind says, I want to go and talk to your friend, if your mind says, do not study, if your mind says, simply sleep, we can do that later, all that is happening. All that is happening on its own. So Pavitra says, your mind is thinking about other persons. That's okay. So you take the power away. Understand, this is the key. This is the key. You do not have to give importance to those random thoughts. You only have to give importance to the thoughts that you create. You only have to give importance to the thoughts that you create, the conscious thinking process. And you have to ignore the unconscious thinking process. All the distractions in a life is in the unconscious thinking process. The moment you take the power away, the moment you take the power away from your unconscious thinking process, the only way that you can use your mind, of course, you will be able to focus. When you use your mind by choice, you will focus. Your mind is meant to focus. Your mind is an instrument that can help you focus, of course. The distraction is in the unconscious mind, the thought process which is happening on its own. Unfortunately, your education system does not talk about it, and there is nobody talking to you about it in your life. You see? So if you simply take the power away from your unconscious thinking process, do not give any importance to your random thoughts. Now, when you're trying to study, when you're trying to focus on something, if your mind says go and talk to your friend, ignore that. If your mind says go and talk to that boy or girl, ignore that. When your mind says do not do this, ignore that. When your mind says this is of no use, we can sleep for some time and do that later, we have a lot of time, again ignore that. Because all that is something that is happening on its own. Are you doing it? I know, are you creating the distractions? Tell me this. Are you creating those random thoughts? Are you creating those random thoughts? No, right? This is simply happening on its own. This something happens on its own. It could be anything. It could be anything. You simply have to give all the power to your conscious thinking process. The thoughts that you are creating, the planning that you are doing by choice. When you are using your mind by choice, that's called conscious mind. So you have to use your conscious mind and take the power away. And the only way to take the power away from your unconscious mind, you simply have to ignore it. You have to see that's the functioning, that's the normal functioning of the unconscious mind. Your mind will give you a lot of random thoughts. So take the power away. Take the power away from that unconscious mind and simply give as much power as possible to your conscious mind. So there are two dimensions, two main dimensions to your mind. You using your mind consciously, that's conscious mind, and there is something that is happening on its own. That's called unconscious mind. There's a reason why it's happening. We can talk about that some other time, but you simply have to ignore all the random thoughts. Any kind of random thought which is happening on its own is a distraction. Any kind of random thought which is happening on its own is distraction. When you create the thought process using your conscious mind, that's the key to focus. That's the key to focus. And when you do that, when you felt if your mind is out of control, if you feel your mind is out of control, you get this feeling like this, you feel that your mind is out of control, and you simply ignore the random thinking process. Once you simply ignore the random thinking process, you do not have to fight it, you don't have to stop it, you don't have to stop those distractions in your mind, you don't have to fight the distractions in your mind, you simply have to take the power away. Just ignore those random thinking process. Look at it like a useless thing. Look at it like a useless thing. The unconscious mind is useless. It doesn't help us. What helps us is our conscious mind. So you using your mind is what helps us. So you have to make that powerful and take the power away from your unconscious mind. The moment you take the power away from your unconscious mind, like you simply ignore the random thoughts, you don't give any importance to the random thoughts, there is no distraction then. So your mind will be very much in your control and you will be in the present moment. You see, you will feel like this. You will be like, you'll be able to focus. You'll feel very relaxed. You'll feel very calm, and you will be able to deal with those distractions. So you'll be in the present moment. You will feel that you are able to deal with the mind. And the best is you will feel, wow, it's so easy. It was very easy kind of thing. This is the feeling that you will get. And once you are using your conscious mind 100%, 100% it becomes difficult because there's a lot of practice required for that. So when you use your mind by choice and you simply ignore the random thoughts, there is no distraction. It's super easy. You simply have to take the power away. Just take the power away from your random thinking process. If you give it power, if you believe that's the reality, that is what is going to distract you. That is what is going to distract you. Yes. Unconscious mind is not your friend. It is neither your enemy nor your friend. You simply have to take the power away. You can look at your unconscious mind as your enemy, but don't try to fight it. The moment you try to fight your unconscious mind, you try to stop the thoughts, it will happen more. It will happen more. Amber says, what are the tricks? There are no tricks as such. You simply have to understand the thought that you are generating is your conscious mind. The thoughts which are happening on its own is happening unconsciously. That's not your choice. That's how mind works, right? Anything and everything that your five senses have been exposed to, anything that you have seen, heard, tasted, touched, um, and all through those five senses here, anything that you see, you hear, you taste, okay, you touch, so all this gets recorded through these five senses here. So whatever is recorded in your mind, that becomes your unconscious mind. Okay. Now, from the same data, you're using your conscious mind as well. That is, you're using your thinking process as well. So you simply have to look at it like data, those distractions. Those distractions is in the unconscious mind, and you simply have to ignore it. See, distraction will happen only when you're trying to focus. When you're not trying to focus on something, there is no distraction, right? So when you're trying to focus on something, when you want to focus on something, you simply have to ignore your random mind, your unconscious mind. The simplest key is, if I explain this in the simplest words, just understand this: when you're trying to focus on something, when you're trying to focus on something, be it a book, relationship, someone, goal of your life, planning, etc., anything that you're trying to focus on, you're trying to pay attention to, your random mind, your unconscious mind will never stop. You do not have to stop your unconscious mind. The moment you try to stop your unconscious mind, it will happen more. You want to try right now? Do you want to try right now? Try stopping your unconscious mind. Try to stop your random thinking process. It will happen more. It will happen more. You can try this right now. You can try this right now, all of you. Simply close your eyes. Just close your eyes and think about something that you want to focus on. You close your eyes and think about something that you want to focus on. Think about a subject. Think about some book that you want to focus on, or think about your goal that you want to focus on. Okay. But at the same time, just make sure a thought of a monkey should not enter your mind. A thought of a monkey should not enter your mind. Think of something that you want to focus on, but a thought of a monkey, a bandar, should not enter your mind. Try. Try. So the moment you try to stop the thought of a monkey, the moment you try to stop the thought of a monkey, you see, you will have only and only monkeys in your mind because you're trying to stop it. So the only way to deal with your unconscious mind is don't do anything to it. Take the power away. Just simply look at it like random data, the normal functioning of the mind. And you're simply observing those random thoughts. You're observing your unconscious mind, but you are not that unconscious mind. You're not the mind, basically. You're using your mind. Okay. So taking the power away from the unconscious mind and giving all the power to the conscious mind. So you see, the moment you try to fight the monkeys, the moment you try to stop the thoughts of monkeys, it happens more and more and more in your mind. That is exactly how your mind works. So similarly, if you try to stop some distraction, if you try to stop some distraction in your mind, if you try to stop some thought in your mind, it will happen more. You don't have to stop the thoughts. That's very normal functioning of the mind. You simply have to give all the power to the thoughts that you create. That is your conscious mind, and take the power away from the unconscious mind. When you do that, you give all the power to your conscious mind. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's called focus. You're using your mind to focus, and the unconscious mind, simply ignore it. So there'll be no distractions. It is not easy, but then you can try. Just learn to ignore your unconscious mind. Learn to ignore your unconscious mind. That's all you have to do. It will take time. Yes, Julie, you're correct. It's going to take time to ignore your unconscious thinking process because we have given a lot of importance to that. We have given a lot of importance to our unconscious mind. Our education system does not talk about it, but then the only and only way to deal with your unconscious mind is do nothing to it. Simply take the power away. Look at it like something stupid. Look at it like something useless. The unconscious mind, something that is happening on its own. It is the same mind that is helping you focus, but the same mind is distracting you also. Distraction is not in the atmosphere. Distraction is not in the air. Distraction is not in life. The distraction is only in the human mind. So the same mind is, you're using the same mind. Look at the irony. You're using the same mind to focus, but the same mind is creating distractions also, because we have not learned to uh, you know have this distinction. We do not have this clear clarity about the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. So the more you use your conscious mind and simply take the power away from unconscious mind, you will be able to deal with the distractions. I'm not saying you will have no distractions at all. I'm not saying all the distractions will be killed or it will be gone in just overnight. That won't happen. Slowly, you will be able to deal with your distractions. You will be able to deal with your unconscious mind. No, just don't pay attention, Anushka. Just don't pay attention to the unconscious mind. Sakshi has a question. How is that you can control overthinking? That's what I told you. You cannot control your thoughts. You cannot control your thoughts. You simply have to use your mind the way you want. And anything, the activity of the mind that is happening on its own, the unconscious mind which is happening on its own, you simply have to ignore it. That's the only way. Your mind creates distraction basically, Shwetang. That's all you have to do. So the key is give all the power to your conscious mind and say bye bye. Say bye bye to the unconscious mind. This is the key. Say bye 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 to your unconscious mind and say hi 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 to your conscious mind. That's all it is. Okay. So that's the song, right? The Dear Zindagi song. It's simply keh do hi hi hi. So you say hi to your conscious mind and bye 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 to your unconscious mind. Okay, so use your conscious mind and try to focus as much as you can on the things that you want to. And remember, the distraction is only and only in the unconscious mind. And I've told you how to deal with it. Distraction is not in life, distraction is not in air, distraction is not around you, it is just there in the mind. That's the reality. And nobody has taught us that. Nobody is talking about that. But don't worry, your DG sir is going to help you as much as I can. So that's all about the session, guys. If you find the session, if you really found these tips, this conversation, this talk really helpful, make sure you express your love by liking the video. Share this video with your other friends who are kind of struggling with distractions, who are struggling with their unconscious mind, and they do not have clarity about the mind because anyway, it's not spoken about anywhere. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Leave your valuable feedback. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you subscribe and see you all in the next session.